Hello, good morning. I am Sir Live and I am your teacher for the basic calculus on continuity of functions. So we are talking about limit and continuity. So when we say about limit, there is a number in which the graph um, uh, approaches to a certain number from the left and approaches a number from the right. It means when we have a graph, then we can say that there is a limit at x equals a, or as x approaches to a, if there is a value such that f of x is equals to the f of a as x goes to a. So to formally introduce to you about that, let's have this quiz. So from number 1, from the table of values, which is the limit of f of x. So the x here is 1.8, 1.9, 1.99, 2.001. And then f of x goes to, we have 1.8 as x equals 1.8, and x 1.9, you've got 1.9, and 1.999, you've got 1.999, and 2.001, that is 2.001. So what is the limit of f of x? For number 2 from the graph, which is the limit of f of x as x goes to -1. So that means yung x natin dito, makikita natin, kung ang x daw papunta ng -1, ano daw ang value ng ating f of x? Yung f of x natin yung red. Okay? And then, pag ang value daw ng x ay papunta ng -1, ang value din ng f of x ay saan papunta? Okay, so is it A, 0, B1, C2, D3? And for number 3, from the piecewise function, this is the piecewise function, which of the following is the limit of x, f of x, as x goes to 3? Kung ang x daw goes to 3, that means ang x from the right and x goes to 3 from the left. So from the right of 3, yung x is greater than 3, ang ating f of x ay 2x. So therefore, kung x goes to 3, it means the value of 2x is 6. And if x is less than equal to 3, that means from the left of 3, that becomes x squared plus 1. That is x squared plus 1. And that is 3 squared plus 1, that is 10. So, which of the following is the limit of f of x as x goes to 3? Is it A, B, C, or D? Number 4. From the piecewise function, which of the following is the limit of f of x as x goes to 1 from the left? Is it A, B, C, or D? Pag sinasabing from the left of 1, it means sa left ng 1 ay 0, -1, and so on. That means mga maliliit sa 1. It means ito yon, yung x less than or equal to 1 kasi maliit sa 1. When substitution, we have x squared plus 3 as x goes to 1, ano kaya ang value nito? Is it A, B, C, or D? Number 5, from the piecewise function, which is the limit of f of x as x goes to 1 from the right. So, alam natin, ang ibig sabihin ng from the right, that means sa right ng 1. It means yung mga malalaki sa 1, galing doon papunta ng 1. So, ito bang x greater than 1 or x less than or equal to 1? Of course, ito yung x greater than 1. Bakit? Kasi pag x greater than 1, it means mga malalaki sa 1. That means to the right of 1. It means, ano yung value pag ang x goes to 1? Is it 3 times 1? What is the value? Next, we have number 6. Given f of x equals to x squared plus 3, which of the following is true in writing the limit f of x as x goes to 1? So, ang pagsulat po nito ay limit of 2x squared plus 3 as x goes to 1. Ito ba ay ganito? Equals 5 or equals to 1? Ang 5 dito, ang 1 dyan, or ang ito yon, 5 or this one? So, which of this is the correct way of writing? Number 7, from the piecewise function, which of the following is the limit of f of x as x goes to 1? So, kung as x goes to 1, ano kaya ang value ng ating f of x? Next, number 8, from the graph, is f of x continuous at -1, 1? Why? So, pag sinasabing continuous, it means wala siyang hole, wala siyang jump or continuity or cusp, automatic papunta siya doon. So, kung meron tayong x -1, 1, that means galing dito papunta dyan, yung graph ba natin continuous lang ba? Or meron siyang discontinuity? Bakit? For number 9, from the piecewise function, is f of x continuous at negative infinity to positive infinity, and why? Pag sinasabing positive infinity, that means to the positive side sa dulo ng walang hanggan, to the positive side, and negative infinity means to the left side sa dulo ng walang hanggan din to the left side. Why? So, when you say piecewise function, that means for any values of x dito, it means wala talaga siyang we call this one, wala siyang a cusp or wala siyang point of discrete. Walay ambak-ambak. So, kung musulat ka og graph, it means you cannot lift your pen. Dili ni mo aswat imong pen para ibalhin sa kabila nga graph. Is that continuous or not continuous? Kasi pag continuous, continue lang. Pag not continuous, it means gibalhin nimo. And for number 10, from the piecewise function graphed beside, is f of c equal to the limit of f of x as x goes to 1 and y? So, kung x equals to 1, ang x daw is equal, f of x equals to x. And if x is not equal to 1, you've got x squared plus 3, and this one is the graph. So, from this, is f of c equal to the limit of f of x as x goes to 1? What is f of c? So, ang f of c natin ay f of 1. So, kung f of 1, it means ano ang value ng f of 1? Ang f of 1 natin is ito. Because this is f of x equals x as x equals 1. So, that is f of c by substitution. Pag limit naman, it means, kung magsasabi tayong limit of f of x as x goes to 1, it means dalawa ang ibig sabihin. Na from the right ay yung value ay f of x, yung from the left, yun pa rin. So, it means kung goes to 1, it means not equal to 1. It means to the right of 1 and to the left of 1. So, kung to the right and to the left of 1, ito yung not equal. So, that means this is x squared plus 3 if x not equal to 1. So, let's check first your answer. So, from number 1, from the table, which is the limit of f of x. So, the limit of f of x is equals, kung titingnan natin, from this, we can say that as x goes to 2, from the right, that means sa unahan ng 2, that is 2.001, ang value na ay 2.001. As x goes to 2 from the left, that means yung mga maliliit sa 2, that is 1.8, 1.1.9, and the value is equal to the same. It means, kung ang x goes to 2, it means the value goes to 2. So, from the table which is the limit of f of x as x goes to 2, so the value is 2. What is the limit of f of x as x goes to 1.8? That is 1.8. What is the limit of f of x? So, the limit of f of x here is equal to the value of x. So, from here, if we're going to find the limit of f of x as x goes to 2, kasi ang 2 dito is nasa unahan, meron din sa hulihan, so that is x goes to 2. So, that is letter C. Number 2, from the graph, which is the limit of f of x as x goes to negative 1. So, kung papunta ng negative 1, tingnan natin, mag-intersect sila sa positive 2. So, the answer is letter C. Number 3, from the piecewise function, which is the limit of f of x as x goes to 3. So, kung 3 naman siya, that means from the left, it means this one. So, that is 3 squared plus 1, that is 10. From the right, that is 6. And dapat equal itong dalawa para magiging limit of f of x as x go 3. And that means 6 and 10 are not the same from the left at saka right kasi dapat equal to have the value of the limit. So that means does not exist. That is letter D. And number 4, from the piecewise function, it's is the limit of f of x as x goes to 1 from the left. So from the left, nakaspecify siya talaga ito. That means if x1, 1 plus 3, that is 4. The answer is letter B. Next, number 5, from the piecewise function, limit of f of x as x goes to 1 from the right. So from the right, this one, as x goes to 1, that is 3 times 1 by substitution, that is 3 times 1 is 3. So letter A. Number 6, given f of x equals to x squared plus 3, which of the following is true in writing the limit of f of x as x goes to 1? So, as x goes to 1, ito yon. Pwedeng ito yon. Pwedeng ito yon. And the limit of f of x is here, so 2x squared plus 3. And we know that if x is 1, you've got 2 times 1 squared. 1 squared is 1 times 2. 2 2 plus 3, that is 5. So therefore, the answer is letter A. And number 7, from the piecewise function, so the following is the limit of f of x as x goes to 1. So the same, kung x goes to 1, it means kung ano ang from the right at saka from the left dapat equal. So if x goes to 1, you've got 3 times 1, 3 from the right. From the left, 1 plus 3 is 4. It means 3 cannot be equal to 4. That means does not exist. Number 8, from the graph, is f of x continuous at negative 1, 1? And y. So kung we have negative 1, 1 from here up to here, negative 1, the closed interval negative 1, 1, and we know that there is no what they call this one, there is no point of discontinuity, then we can say that this is continuous. If we have a continuous function, so for example, this one, and then from here, magja-jump siya dito, and from there, that becomes discontinuous. So that means this graph alone is continuous, but combining these two graphs, it becomes discontinuous. Say, for example, we have this. From the piecewise function, is f of x continuous? We know that continuous, 3x if x is greater than 1. So, kung greater than 1, it means this is the value, 3x. And we know that 3x is a linear equation. That means ito yung line. And if x is less than or equal to 1, you've got x squared plus 3, which is x less than 1. That means ito yung ating graph. So, kung x continuous ba siya, this one is, of course, not continuous. Why? Because kung dito daw pa negative 1 from the left, ito yung graph na gagamitin natin. So, dito siya. Pag dito naman siya sa greater than 1, ito yung gagamitin natin. So, it means, galing dito, magja-jump siya dito. And that means papatuloy siya. That means ito ay mai-erase ito kasi sabi niya ang x squared plus 3 ay hanggang sa 1 lang. So that means hanggang dito lang siya. So that means dito putol. And then after that, jump siya dito. So there is a jump and that means there is no continuity. Hindi siya continuous. So 10, from the piecewise function graphed beside, is f of c equal to the limit of f of x as x goes to 1? So alam natin, una step is f of c. What is f of c? Kung f of c as x goes to 1, that means f of 1. Kung x is 1, that means 1. So that means ito yon. When x is 1, that is 1. And when that is not equal to 1, ito yung ating titingnan, x squared plus 3. So kung less than 1, ito yon. And then greater than 1, ito yon. So that means, equal ba? Of course not. Because if x equals 1, you've got 1. And if x is not equal to 1, you've got 1 plus 3, that is 4. Remember na kung meron tayong continuous or a limit, pag sinasabing limit of f of x as x goes to x squared, as x goes to 1 of x squared plus 1 plus 3, it means ang x hindi talaga 1. Ang ibig sabihin ng limit ay papunta pa lang. It creeps, nagakamang siya paingon dito sa value. So that is the limit. So we have now the task. The objective is to illustrate properties and limit of a constant property, limit of a constant function of a constant c, constant multiple theorem, addition theorem, multiplication theorem, division theorem, power theorem, and radical root theorem. So the limit of a constant itself. So what is number 1? Limit of 1 as x goes to. The answer is 1. Limit of 1 as x goes to negative 4, 1. Limit of 5 as x goes to 10, 5. Limit of k as x goes to c, where k is constant, that is equal to k. So look at this graph. The graph of f of x equals 1. So this is a horizontal line. Kung x equals 2, 1 pa rin. Kung negative 4, 1 pa rin. Kung 10, 1 pa rin. So at kung constant siya, it means for any values of x as x from left to right, with the given, the limit of a constant is itself. Okay? So, kung ano nakalagay dyan, kahit anong value dito, kopyahin lang dyan. Okay? The limit of a constant c is f of c if it exists. So limit of 3x as x goes to 0 is 3 times 0 is 0. Okay? So the limit of number 3x as x goes to 0 is 0. Limit of x as x goes to negative 4. By substitution, that is negative 4. Limit of 2x as x goes to 10 is 2 times 10, that is 20. And limit of kx as x goes to c is kc. Kasi k is constant there. So the graph of f of x equals 3x. Ang ibig sabihin yan, kung ang x natin ay 0, it means ang value ng f of x, the limit goes to 0. If the value of x goes to 2, it means the value of f of x goes to 6 because 3 times 2 is 6. So that means if this is the problem, the limit of a function at c is just substitute if it exists. Constant multiple theorem. The limit of a multiple of a function is simply that multiple of the limit of the function. It means i-multiply lang po. Say for example, may constant tayo at saka ang ating function or x. So that means ilalabas yung 3 and then limit of f of x. Where f of x equals x, then we've got as x goes to 0, 3 times is 0, the answer is 0. So number 1, the answer is 0 or 3 times 0. As x goes to 2, ilalabas ang 20 and x goes to negative 4. That means negative 4 times 20, that is negative 80. And limit of 2x cubed as x goes to 10, that is 10 cubed, that is 1,000. Times 2, that is 2,000. And kx times, k times x, where x goes to 3, that is kc. So, number, we have addition theorem. Say, for example, we have number 1 to 5 follows this theorem that the limit of a sum of a functions is the sum of the limits of the individual function. That means, kukunin muna, say for example, limit of f of x as x goes to 1. Ano ba ang value? So, 3 times 1 plus 2, that is 5. Limit g of x as x goes to 1, that is 2 times 1 minus 3, that is negative 1. So, kung kukunin natin ang limit of f of x plus g of x, that means, yung 5 plus negative 1, that is positive 4. So, that is positive 5 minus 1, that is positive 4. Limit of f of x plus g of x. So, kung mag-0 ang f of x or ang x goes to 0 as f of x equals 3x plus 2, by substitution, we've got 2. And then, ang g of x equals 2 times 0 minus 3, that is negative 3. So, this becomes 2 plus negative 3, that is negative 1. Or, the limit of f of x plus the limit of g of x is equals to the limit of f of x plus g of x as x goes to 0. The same with this. Limit of f of x as x goes to 1, that is 5. And limit of g of x as x goes to 1 is negative 1. 2 times 1 is minus 3 is negative 1. Then 5 plus negative 1, that is positive 4. So, mapapansin nyo, ito siyang number 2 ay equal sa number 4 because they have the same answer. That means, ito yung ating theorem. Ito yung sinasabi. But to prove this one is not in your area. Limit of g of x plus f of x. So, ang g of x natin ay 3x plus 2 as x goes to 3, it becomes 9 plus 2, that is 11. Ang f of x natin ay 2x minus 3 as x goes to 3, it becomes 2 times 3 minus 3. That is 6 minus 3, that is 3. So, 11 plus 3, that is 14. Sa multiplication theorem naman, the limit of the product is the product of the limits. So, say for example, limit of x as x goes to 1, that is 3 times 1, that is 3. Limit of g of x as x goes to 1, that is 2 times 1 plus 1, that is 3. So, the limit of f of x times g of x, that is 3 times 3, that becomes 9. And the limit of f of x as x goes to 0, that is 0. And limit of g of x as x goes to 0 is 1. So, limit of f of x times g of x is 0 times 1, that is 0. And for number 4, limit of f of x as x goes to 1 is 3. And the limit of g of x as x goes to 1 is 2 times 1 plus 1, that is 3 also. So, the product is 3 times 3, that is 9. And the limit of g of x times f of x. So, g of x is 3. As x goes to 3, that means 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, that is 7. And f of x, 3 times 3, that is 9. So, 7 times 9, that is 63. So, we can say that the multiplication theorem, i-multiply lang po ang limits. Division theorem. So, sa division theorem, the limit of the quotient of the function is the quotient of the limits of the individual functions, provided that the denominator is not equal to 0, or else that not exist. F of x equals 3x and g of x equals 2x plus 1. As x goes to 1 of f of x, that is 3 times 1, that is 3. And g of x is 2 times 1 plus 1, that is also 3. So the product is 9. And when we divide it, that is 3 over 3, that is 1. So, since ito ay hindi multiplication, that means limit of x as x goes to 1 is 3. Limit of g of x as x goes to 1 is also 3. Limit of f of x over g of x as x goes to 1 is 3 over 3, that is equal to 1. And limit of f of x over g of x as x goes to 0, of course, this is 0. And the limit of g of x as x goes to 0, that is 2 times 0 plus 1, that is 1. So the limit of 3f of x over g of x is 0 over 1, that is 0. Number 4, limit of f of x as x goes to 1 is 3. Limit of g of x as x goes to 1 is also 3. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. Of course, the limit is 3 over 3, that is equal to 1. Limit of g of x as x goes to 3 is 9. Limit of f of x as x goes to 3 is 6 plus 1, that is 7. So the limit of g of x over f of x is 9 over 7. So power radical theorem. Sa power radical theorem naman po ay ating gagamitin pa rin. So kung limit of g of x as x goes to 1, that is 2 times 1 plus 1, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3. Pag i-cube natin yan, that is 3 cube, that is 27. And pag i-cube root natin, so for example, the limit of cube root of 2 times x, ang x natin 0 dito, plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1, and cube root of 1 is positive 1. So therefore, the answer for number 1 is 3, 27, kasi 3 cube yan, and this one is 1. Number 4 naman, kung limit of g of x as x goes to 1, that is 2 times 1 plus 1, that is 3, times the limit of g of x as x goes to 1, that is 2 times 1 plus 1, that is 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. And the limit of g of x as x goes to 3, that is 6 plus 1, that is square root of 7. So therefore, yung ating radical, yan substitution lang po. And then, we have now the short evaluation. Number 1, apply the limit theorem in evaluating limit of x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus 1 as x goes to 0. So kung x goes to 0, it means 0 minus 3 times 0 plus 1. The answer is 1. Number 2, why is it that limit of 2x plus 1 is equal to 2 times 2 plus 1 is equal to 5? Because the limit of f of x is equals to, because the limit, the function, by substitution, f of 2 is equals to, ang f of x kasi natin dito ay 2x plus 1. So therefore, ang f of 2 ay 2 times 2 plus 1, which is 5. And by substitution, as x goes to 2 from the right, and x goes to 2 from the left, since isa lang ang ating function, then you have 2 times 2 plus 1, that is 5. So that's why the limit of 2x plus 1 as x goes to 2 is 5, because it holds from the left and from the right. And the limit of 2x as x goes to 2 plus the limit of 1 as x goes to 2 is equals to 4 plus 1, that is 5. If limit of g of x as x goes to 0 equals 0, and limit of f of x as x goes to 0 equals 2, does limit of f of x over g of x as x goes to 0 exist? Why? The answer is the limit does not exist. Why? Because the denominator must not be equal to 0. If that is equal to 0, then that means does not exist. Okay? So, that is our short evaluation. So, thank you.